Hey y'all, welcome to the second episode of Brown Liquor, and today we're going to be talking about protecting your peace. Okay, so just to give y'all a little context, really quickly, it's a lot going on around us. You know, we got stuff going on out in the world that deals with police brutality, the unjustified killings of unarmed Black people. And so you kind of got to learn how to control your own tiny little universe. So today we're going to be talking about protecting your peace. And Miss Amber is going to start us out with a quote because you know she's our quote lady. See, she got her quote turban on, and when she got on her turban, she got some quotes under that turban. So Amber is going, give us a Zen quote to start our show out with, and we gonna roll from there because you know we gotta protect our peace. Okay, go Amber.
All right, so this is by Ann Taylor, and it goes a little bit like this.
Ann Taylor, the designer.
Whoever. It goes like this.
I got an auntie named Ann Taylor.
I got an auntie named Ann too. But listen, y'all, let's get started. Okay.
Okay.
Like this. Right. Love yourself enough.
Come on.
Set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how to use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
The first question I want to ask you guys is, number one, before we even get into all that good stuff.
Okay, come on.
Peace look like for each of you guys in your own individual lives right now? What does peace look like for you? I'm gonna go last because I want to get all y'all. Y'all go first.
Who nominates themselves to go? I'm going last. I'm gonna be last.
The Bible says the first shall be last, so I'm gonna be last first.
The first should be last. You know what? Come on, somebody go, cause I'm sick of Amber.
You go.
Okay, so I'll talk about my piece. So for me, oh y'all, this has been a long time in the making for me. Peace, because I had to first learn what peace was. Like, it seems like something that's so common. It's something that everybody should just really have an instinctive understanding of. But I did not know what peace was because I was so used to thriving and surviving in chaos. So for me, peace came and looked like something that, I guess, in those times when everything going right and you just be like, man, something about to happen. I just had to learn how to be okay with things not being chaotic, things not being screwed up, things not being messed up, and had to understand that I deserve to be at peace and I deserve to be in a calm space and I deserve to not have to wake up and figure out what the fight is for today. Like, every day my tire not gonna be on flat. Every day I'm not gonna be out of money. Every day I'm gonna, I won't have to worry about what I'm going to eat. Like, it's okay for things to go the right way. And I think that was just one of the main things in learning what peace felt like to me. And then once I learned what peace felt like and that it was okay to feel that way, then I tried to figure out how to protect it. So if that answers the question, that's what my peace looks like. It's just being in this calm space to where, I guess, since I learned chaos first, I have to say the absence of chaos, the absence of that just adrenaline rush all the time is my peace. And just saying, you know what, I can sit back and say, God, you did that today. Like, today was a good day, and I'm just thankful for it being today. Like,
that's an important point because for me, my peace looks like for me is just whenever I can laugh at everything, regardless of the situation. So it's going to sound real weird, but I'm going to say it anyway because I was trying to think about how to say it, but I'm just going to let it out. So to me, I had to come to a place into my life where I realized that whatever was happening around me, that I'm not that important, right? And so, like, I had to understand that there are things that happen beyond my control, and before having this sense of peace, I used to take it personal. Like, why me, God? Like, why are you setting this to happen? Or, what have I done to you, and that kind of thing. But I had to get to a place of realizing and understanding that, number one, I'm not that important. Like, it's not about you. This world doesn't center and evolve around Amber, although I like to think so most days.
Me too, Amber.
But just being at a place of, understanding with myself, with God, and allowing, whatever is going to happen just to take place, and being prepared for that, for whatever it may be.
Well, I believe in God too, y'all, because I didn't say
Amen, Sister
I
Ray.
do believe in God.
Amen,
So I want
Sister
to just
Ray.
throw that in there because I didn't want people like, dang, that girl don't. I believe in God too.
I mean, I was questioning it just now.
You
Just
know
then,
what?
well,
But
I don't know. For me, peace is something I'm still struggling with.
Oh, that's so
Just trying to find
powerful.
the balance between, like Amber said, the world not evolving around me. Because again, I think the world evolves around me. And I think I am pretty important
Is
now.
that my pencil you stole?
It's not. But I
yeah,
guess for me, it's finding those boundaries, having some type of structure, some type of schedule, not heavy breathing every day. Just trying to learn to let go and let God, or just breathing, breathing.
Can I just say though? Can I just say something to your point though? That's so honest and that's so transparent that you were saying that's something that you're still working on and
It's a
something that
daily
you're working.
struggle.
Right, and I think that that is just a really brave place to be in because a lot of people are really, really reluctant. That I've learned as I've grown, they're really reluctant to talk about where they are not. We post on social media what we want everybody to see. And everybody's like, oh, I should have a house by this age, or I should have a family, I should have a husband, I should have all these things. But the reality is, nobody posts those shit days. Nobody posts those days that make you go home and sit on your toilet while your kids sleep, if you don't have kids, or while you in the shower and just cry your eyeballs out. And I
Cry
think,
my guts away.
right, and I think that that's a good place to be in where you can just say, this is something I'm working on because we don't hear that enough. And so we try to live up to standards that are not even real.
Well,
um,
that was something that I had to struggle with too. Realizing that by this age, I'm not going to have it all together. Because, like I said
Yeah.
again, that was causing a lot of chaos, a lot of anxiety, panic attacks. So, like I said, every day is a challenge, but I'm willing to take it on every day just to find that inner peace.
that's awesome. That's a perfect transition to my next question. So, what steps have you guys been taking to protect your own individual peace and realizing that, hey, I'm right now, my world is messed up. All right, but what steps do I need to take in order to provide the life that I want to live at peace? And I know, Shalina, you're kind of still in that phase of trying to figure it out, but still kind of like talk about what steps have you taken to protect your own peace?
And our process, again, like I said, accepting it, accepting it, accepting it, accepting it. Also, a little therapy won't hurt. I started counseling,
Oh, that's a
running,
good point. That's a good point.
I don't
running.
want to interject, but I got something to say after you. Go ahead.
Like I said, therapy, running, meditation, writing, journaling, being more open, talking, communicating more. Because, like I said again, I don't really communicate either. Once I get frustrated, it's over. I just shut down. So, like I said again, counseling really helped me in that aspect and learning that I can't control everything. Let it go, because otherwise, it's gonna let you go. You know what I'm saying? And and then, like I said, just praying and talking to God more. Because, like I said, I didn't grow up in church. Like I said, I've always believed in God, but church was not something that I had to attend every Sunday. So just talking to somebody that I can't physically see or whatever was hard for me. So that's some of the steps that I've been taking thus far. Like I said, it's been a chaotic journey, but like I said, I'm getting there.
Right. So for me, I wanted to add on to that too, because for me, the steps that I've taken, I just started therapy myself a few months ago. And I think it's important. One of the things that I've always asked myself whenever I'm coming into a situation where I feel like it can kind of shake my feathers a little bit is, oh bless you, is
Not Corona.
my therapist always asks me this question. I think it's important that we live by it. Okay. She definitely got corona, guys. Um,
I don't have Corona. I have allergies.
All right, coronavirus. One of the questions that my therapist always asks me is, what do you have control over? And so whenever I come across a situation where I feel like I'm about to lose, I guess, that peaceful ground, I always ask myself, what do I have control over in this situation? And if it's nothing, then there's nothing I should be stressed out about.
Come on, that's a
You know,
word.
and if it's
It
something that I
is.
do have control over, then I need to redirect my actions and my perspective towards that situation. So I'll say for me, my biggest steps are just being self-aware, aware of myself and my position in whatever situation that I'm about to encounter, and then figuring out, number one, is it worth it? Because we got to pick our battles. Like if it ain't worth it,
We
we got to
do.
let it go. And then, being able to talk to people and finding a place, because I think therapy is so important, Shelina. Like seriously, like Black people.
It's very important, and I loved it. Like I said, once I got there, but again, you have to know me, and there was nothing that woman can tell me that I can tell myself.
Right.
I went in there and read her. You got the same degree, same interest, same this, and third. So what can you tell me any different? Like I said, because I've always known what to do. It's just putting the plan into action. How can you help me put this plan into action? How can you help me? Because right now I'm about to pull my hair out in yours, you know. And I guess, like I said, it was definitely a struggle the first couple of weeks because, ma'am, you can't tell me nothing. I'm Shelina. I know it all, you know.
But she should have came in there with her belt. That's what she should have did.
Definitely. She told me, she was like, "Oh, you're gonna be hell. You're gonna be hard to break." And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "It's gonna be times where you want to quit." And again, it's days that I don't want to go here.
Yeah.
You know. But again, like I said, it was getting to that necessary point. It was necessary for me, my mental health, my physical health, my kids' health. You know, the people around me. Because, like I said, I can be a bitch. I am very bitchy, very moody.
I'm not agreeing. I'm not shaking.
You don't have
to. I will.
But you know, she just learned how to roll with the punches, Amber. It's cool. But yeah, it's definitely necessary. And like I said, again, my hard part was accepting it. Or you're not perfect. You're not this. Because like I said, again, I come from perfect patty world. You know, everybody look up to me. Everybody expect this out of me. So they have high expectations. So I struggled with not being perfect.
Got you.
Hey, Nala.
Okay, she good.
Why Nala got on the swimsuit though?
Nala is protecting her peace, and you know. All right. So, in knowing all these things, the steps that we're taking, how do you guys manage the relationships that you have when trying to protect your peace? Because so, like for me, specifically, like I know what kind of mindset or headspace I want to be at, but I also know that me in trying to take my journey to self-care, that other people in my life are not necessarily on that same platform or that same page. And so like I'm trying to figure out like, okay, I'm trying to do all this and work on me so I could be my best version, but right now you ain't feeling this. You're not hearing this. So how do you guys manage those relationships when you're trying to protect your peace?
I'll go. Again, that's something that I'm struggling with, and really, really bad. I don't know. Like I said, just becoming less available. I don't have to always answer my phone. I don't have to always show up if I don't want to, especially if I'm not feeling it. Because again, like I said, I pick up on vibes and stuff. So just becoming less available, I guess, is for me.
Miss Ray, you got something?
I think I'm kind of echoing the same sentiment. I think one of my biggest obstacles was just learning how to say no to people that I love. Just to give a little context to that is, you know, I grew up, like I said, in just a real, you know, it's kind of rough. You know, I didn't have the best home life, you know. And so with that being the case, I learned at an early age that I wanted to always surround myself with people because I knew what loneliness looked like. I knew what that felt like. And I did not want to take that into, you know, the parts of my life that I can control. So at an early age, I learned to accept things from people that I probably shouldn't have because I didn't want to risk them leaving my life. You know, I worn a lot of titles that I probably shouldn't have because I didn't want people to say, you know, well, I don't got to talk to you no way. Or, you know what, we might be blood, but, you know, F you. You know, if I can't sit here and call you what I want to call you or dress you the way I want to dress you, then I'm out, you know, and that was my fear. And so that made me, you know, that fear gave me way too much patience with people. And so with that and in that, I had to learn how to tell people that I love, people that I was scared of losing, like that's not gonna work for me. And not feel bad about it. I mean, because at the end of the day, they get to go to bed and feel good about what they've done. And I'm sitting here listening with, you know, all these things you said about me or these ideas you said or, you know, all these stigmas and stereotypes you attached to me. They swirling around in my head, and here I am up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm trying to figure out how to work through all that while still having you in my life and looking at you every day, knowing this is the way you feel about me. And not only that, but you've been so blunt and so, you know, you just been so bold about saying those things to me. You know, so with that being the case, I had to learn to tell some people like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not. That don't ride with me. That don't fly with me. And it definitely came when I had my daughter. Once I had Mason, it was just like, if it ain't helping me and Mason get where we got to go, and you don't seem to have no care as to how we achieve what we need to achieve, then I can't help you, baby. I'm not gonna take out of my baby's mouth. Now I may have put up with that, but I'm not gonna do that to my daughter. And so that was the turning point for me. Definitely.
I think that's important because you said a lot, a handful. Because for me, I mean, y'all, the rest of y'all old. I'm young, so I'm
only 33, ma'am. Thank you.
Let's move forward. What I was saying is that for me, I'm in a place now where I'm struggling with trying to say no to those who mean the most to me, right? Because like I've been, brought up with this sense of obligation in order to, provide and take care and listen and do whatever it is that I need to do for those people who are close to me. And so what that has taught me is that myself comes last to other people. And so like when the idea of trying to put myself first is like a foreign language. And so when I do it, I battle with the feeling of being selfish and knowing, what's good for myself.
And guilt.
Yes. Guilt is a big thing, and it's so heavy. And so like I struggle a lot with trying to figure out, how do I say no? How do I please both parties? But the reality is you can't, because it's like either you want to do this yourself or you don't. Right, exactly. But that's like always in the back of my head. And it's just like, when I have those conversations and it's just like, I really don't want to do this, or I really don't want to be there, or I really don't like this, or whatever the situation is. It's just like, man, you have to do what's best for yourself. And it just feels so bad, like, oh my God.
It's definitely necessary, Amber, because that was something that I had to learn too. You can't pour from an empty glass. You can't take care of somebody else, or you can't make somebody else happy if you're not happy. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to put self first in certain situations, especially this one.
So for me, managing relationships are trying to protect my peace. That's a mouthful. It's hard, I guess. And it's different from each person, because you have to learn as you're adapting to whatever type of relationship you have with that person. You have to learn their boundaries. You have to learn your boundaries with them. And I've always been the type of person, I'm just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. No, if you have that mentality, stop that shit. It does not work. It does not work well for you. It does not work well for others. For me, I had to learn that it's okay to choose me. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My brain is like jumbled right now.
No, but you said a lot, because what I really appreciate about your response is that you have to be intentional in all relationships.
Yes. There we go.
Because when you're not intentional, that means you're basically operating off this lack of structure. And so you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure, right? And so like if you have a goal in which you're trying to accomplish from this particular relationship, you have to be mindful of, number one, not only yourself, but what boundaries are they setting that I'm constantly passing over in my own actions and, in daily life. So I think that is super important.
In the same sense, when you're setting a goal, you don't want to be so forceful either, because you have a goal, you have a place that you're trying to get, and by all means necessary, we're going to get to the finish line. Sometimes that shit don't work either.
Yeah, you don't want to be rigid you don't want to be rigid. You want to be flexible, but you still want to be flexible with a purpose. You're not just accepting any and everything that comes your way. Like if you ask somebody, what do you want out of this relationship? They can never give you an answer. That's just kind of random, like you need to make sure that when you are asking somebody these questions, that they can give you a real answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's random.
What you want out of this relationship?
Like it could be like a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, whatever. Like if you ask someone, if you can't get a good answer from somebody, that's like that's a red flag, like in real life. You know what I'm saying?
But Go ahead, Adanya. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you hit it. Go ahead.
Or she talking about red flags in real life. Maybe that's a caution sign. Like, hold the hell up. Let me figure out who you are as a person first.
So let me ask you this question. All right, Miss Ray, me and you dating, okay? And you fine in the mug. Let me go ahead and put that there. All right.
Dang.
Thank you. Okay, go. Let's go. Okay.
So me and you dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's just say, because you know I'm 27 and you like 35, so our age is a little bit of a distance, right? And so let's say I'm in a point in my life where I'm trying to figure myself out.
Okay.
Right? So you ask me that question, what do you want out of this? And I'm not able to articulate it according to, or maybe I know what I want, but it's just not what you want to hear.
Okay.
True.
How you gonna you just gonna leave me?
I'm running the cat on you. No. Let me be clear. There's a difference in me not knowing how to articulate something to you, but I also know how to communicate in other means. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm showing you through action that I really want to be with you. So I'm not really holding a whole bunch of conversations with other people. Not to the insecure part. I'm not saying like, you can't have other friends and all that good stuff. But I'm just saying, like, you really are carrying yourself like you want to be in a relationship. Then I can say, okay, you want to be in a relationship with me. You want something from this relationship with me. But if you still out here going on dates and on TikTok and doing all this other kind of random stuff with just any and everybody, what is it? What is it? Y'all know that. You know what? First of all, I'm young. Okay, I may not know. I'm young. I just don't be on social. See, now I'm upset, Lord. See, I'm about to start cussing. But
I was just trying to figure out what TikTok.
Well, I'm not 35. I'm only 33.
33. Listen, you know what I meant. Tinder, whatever. That's the one. Like if you're showing me that, you really want to be in this relationship, then I can work with it all day long. But it's a difference in when you don't know how to communicate it verbally. Your actions are saying something different. So then it's like, at what point do I start saying, well, maybe this is something that I need to be a part of? Because you're not getting anything in that instance. Like I can understand the lack of verbal communication. Everybody's not good with their words. But and I also want to point out too, it's not always just with romantic relationships. Because I mean, like you got some friends to where you can go months without talking to them, and y'all pick up the phone February, y'all ain't talked since November, and it's like, hey girl, where you been? Y'all pick up like it never left. But some friendships, like if I was to go 3 months without talking to Shalina, it'd probably be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not our.
It's gonna be a problem.
So with that being, I think I for myself am trying to get in a better place of establishing those boundaries, because I think I've been so go with the flow that I don't do that, and that's cost me a lot sometimes.
I was just playing devil's advocate because for me, I was just really pulling the strings. Because for me personally, I'm 100% with you. Like I think it's important for us to meet people where they are and understand that there are more ways in which they can show us that they're giving us what we need instead of words. But with that being said, I also think it's super important for us to honestly realize that as people, we have to honor ourselves first. And so, like, if I know you're just not, if I ask you for my own peace, what do you want from this relationship? And your answer is not aligning with my position in life and where I'm trying to go, it's okay for me to leave. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to stay in this situation and stay in this space just because you're a little bit behind. I'm picking you up. You know what I mean? And, it's not my obligation, not my responsibility. And so it's important for us to realize that, and like I said, I was pulling your heartstrings. I don't care. Like me personally, if I ask you what you want and you be like, oh, well, I'm just trying to figure myself, I'm just, all right, dude, I'm in a different spot in my life. All right,
Right. I mean, as you said, I'm 35 and I'm not. But I'm like,
You're supposed to be at 35.
I really do go into like all of my relationships with a purpose. I'm not out here trying to just date you just to say I got somebody that I kick it with. I'm not out here. I got a whole kid that I got to be concerned about. So no, I'm not out here just trying to date you for the poops and giggles of it. Like if we gonna be dating, we date with a purpose. Now it may not work out the way I want it to, but at the end of the day, it was a goal set, and it was not just for me to just say, "Oh, I got a boo thing," because I don't care nothing about you. I go to work for myself. I make my own living for myself, me and my kids. Pretty much everything we want to do. So no, I'm not out here trying to look for you to enrich my life in a way other than how I want you to be in my life. So if you can't do that, then you really don't have nothing to talk about. Like
You look good for 35.
I'm not 35 yet.
She can't be 35 because she's only a year older than me, and I'm 33.
And I'm not even a year older than you. I'm like some months older than you.
In my mind, you was born in 86, I was born in 87.
No.
So,
Oh, you an 86 baby.
I'm an
Damn.
86 baby. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
87.
my birth certificate.
You
Next
was born
question.
in 92.
93. Mine
I
could
ain't
be
sure.
93. But next question. I think that's important. So do you think as black people now, I know we kind of drifted into relationships, but let's go back to black people. Do you think as black people we have been taught to protect our peace enough?
No, hell no.
No. We're not even taught to deal with anything, let alone protect peace.
Hell no. I'm still stuck. Hell no. No.
No.
Why? But listen,
Honestly, I don't even think the people that I grew up with or around, mom, dad, or whomever, what is peace? Again, what is peace? Define it, I guess,
I'm about
and then
to say,
I'll ask.
Hell no. No.
if I'm
Hell
speaking
no.
from my own personal perspective. Nah, I mean, Mama,
Hell no.
I love you. I love all my peoples. I love y'all. Y'all, my POP, hold it down. But no, like, I feel like, kind of like what Adanya said, like, in me growing up in my home, like, we didn't even have privacy. Like, you can't even go in a room and close your door. Like, I wish you would close the door. What bill you pay up in here? I'm like, Mama, I didn't need to be by myself, okay? Because
I'm
Why
telling you,
yourself?
when I come to my mama's house, she still asks me, where are you going? What time you come out? Excuse me? Like, yeah.
I need to be by myself, okay? Because I had a long day at work. I don't need to see nobody, whatever the situation.
And Lord forbid if you have to be by yourself.
And they gonna be like, they gonna say, you know what, and mamas, all black mamas just take it left quick. They be like, the next time you gonna be by yourself, next time you gonna be by yourself when you're dead. When they close that casket, that's when you gonna be by your goddamn family. You like, damn, mama, I'm just trying to take a minute. Listen, can I just say something about this? I think that I sat there one day and I went because I'm not a real crier. I'm not a real big crier. I have a really hard time crying. I have cried, but I'm not a big crier. You're not just gonna catch me just. Now, but it's random because sometimes, like, I'll be watching a commercial and it just hit me, and then I feel tears come.
I think they do come with 30 though. Anything after 30, because they be like,
But let me say though,
deodorant commercial.
So, what? No, you better tell me better. But I'm for real. One time, like commercials, sometimes commercials be making me cry. But I think I had to really go back and kind of look at why we don't have the luxury of crying as black women. I'm speaking to ladies now, and I'm not gonna put us all in one boat. But I will say this: I have seen white women cry, and I be like, the hell she crying for? Like they be like real live boo-hooing, and I'm just like, what the hell are you crying for? And then I look at some of the stuff that black women cry about or don't cry about, and then I just really have to really look at the fact that we don't have time to cry.
Because we don't have time to cry, and crying is seen as weakness.
It's seen as weakness, and two, we just get back to we don't have time, because you know why? You got to get out here because you got to make sure your bills pay. You got to make sure your kids pay. You got to make sure you're doing an excellent times 10 job at your place of employment. You just have all these other things that are in your way to where if you sat down and had a good cry, that's time that you done lost that you could be devoted to something else, attaining some other level of excellence. Because I'm not to get too deep into another conversation, but as black women, we had to shoulder a lot of responsibility. And because we've had to start doing that to make sure that all of our stuff that goes on in our lives is taken care of, we don't have time to sit at home and cry because Bob didn't bring us home no flowers, and he used to bring us home flowers every Tuesday, but he ain't bring them today. Baby, I'm gonna go buy my own flowers if it's that serious. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how we kind of morph into. It's like we so far removed from our own emotions because we got so much stuff that matters today, right now, that needs our attention, and that stops us from being able to really process.
So on my evaluation, a place I had to improve on is being empathetic to others and understanding others' emotions. Because you know, in the office, if you feel like you're gonna cry, don't come to my office because I can't deal with it. I don't know how to deal with it. If you see me crying,
and I might tell you just gonna get out.
Like to whoop somebody ass, like. That's where I am. Like if there's tears coming out of my eyes, somebody about to die. Like that, and that's that's no exaggeration. If I'm crying, it's because I'm highly pissed the fuck off, and that's the only way I'm not gonna kill somebody is by releasing a freaking flood. Because I don't cry. Like Alicia said, I'm not a big crier. I don't like to be around. Nyla cry. I tell her to go take a break. What did you cry for? Like, I just be like, you know what, baby, go take a break. Go chill out for a minute. And then she trying to talk to me while she crying. I can't understand that. You either gonna cry or you gonna talk. Like
So you toxic. You toxic. You real toxic.
I know. It's bad. It's bad. It really is. No, and then like my ex-husband, I was married before for 5 years. It did not work. It is what it is. But he used to tell me that like I was trying to be in the relationship. Like I'm trying to be the man of the house, and I'm just like what do you want me to do today? Like I just didn't, and I am still very not in tune with this I guess like feminine emotions. That's just not me.
Being submissive is the word.
Yes. And I don't have a problem with being submissive. I just ain't found no person I'm supposed to be submissive to.
That's important. I was about to say, me personally, I don't care about being submissive, but I need to be submissive to someone with submissive too. So like, right. I need to know that my art of submission is not going to be used for your art of manipulation, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
And so, so I'm with you on that, sis. I'm with you on that. But I think it's important
to be clear.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
Oh, but just to the point for the ladies, because I hate to hear people say you need to be submissive to your man. Let me tell you something. Don't ever come at me with that scripture. Because you're submitting to the God in the man. Okay, you're not submitting to the man because the man submits to God. So why am I submitting to something that you don't have to submit to? So you submit to the God in the man. Let's be clear. I hate that people use that narrative or that scripture to try to justify you being a shit dude. Like, oh, you're supposed to submit to me because I got a penis. I can go buy one from the Cupids. They'll sell me one. And be all right. So it's not that you just because you have this tool that I should submit to you. I'm submitting to the God in you. And if it ain't no God in you, you can really do some things.
You can't say God and say what you're about to say in the same sentence. It's just not going to transpire the way it's supposed to.
Okay, all right.
First of all, let's say amen, y'all.
Amen.
But I think that's super important too. And it kind of honestly leads to my next question I've asked is that, you kind of talked about it too, Ms. Sheree, is that how does peace in the Black community look different from other races and other cultures? I guess, would you even call it a culture? Whatever. How does, peace for us look for us as different from other people? Because, you said a lot about how as women, we're not allowed to cry because we have to be strong because nobody's going to be strong for us. And so, with that being said, we can also argue the other dynamic that Black men are not, taught to live in their emotions as well. Like they don't cry and they don't deal with some of the traumas that are in their past, and they have to kind of pick up and keep going. And then it's just a lot of, kind of chaos, I guess, that exists within our community.
And that just comes from the systematic oppression that we've had to endure as a people. Because when you break it all down, which we can't do right now because we ain't got enough time, but when you break it all down and you really look at how the evolution of the Black family, the evolution of the Black man, the Black woman has happened over this time span, we have been um, literally told that if we don't toe the line of society, if we aren't doing every single thing correctly, then we could really lose our lives. We're seeing it right now. We could really lose our lives. And so, as a black man, let's just play with that really quickly. As a black man, if I'm not doing every single thing I'm supposed to be doing, I can't provide for my family. You know why? Because they're not hiring me
Right.
to provide for my family. So then I can't go home and take my wife this money and make sure that she has every single thing that she needs to do and take care of my kids properly. So my escape, because again, going back to our first conversation, I don't know how to process my emotions neither. I don't know what peace looks like. So in order for me to find a way to escape and deal with all of this, all of these things that society has basically told me, I'm not fit to be a man. So in order for me to deal with it, in order for me to process that, I either turn to drugs or I leave, or there's some other, systematic thing or
Alcohol, women.
outlet, or outlet that I utilize to just cope with the fact that I'm not measuring up. It hurts in a moment because it's happened to me. But if I could step aside from what's happened to me and look at this man and see where he's broken and see why he may be broken, it's easier to understand. Like, there's so many things working against us that when we have a reaction and then all of a sudden everybody like, see, I told you that's what that black man was going to do. He ain't worth nothing. That's always the end conversation, but no one ever looks at what caused him to get to this place. No one ever looks at the fact that he's been gone. He's been to 27 interviews when he's been qualified for every single one of them, and they tell him they ain't gonna hire him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or when he finally gets a job, he making $10 an hour. But in order to put his family in a neighborhood to where they won't have to hear gunshots all night or have somebody stealing from them, that's gonna take his whole entire check. You see what I'm saying? So it's just all these things that work against us, but we're still expected to be nice, and we're still expected to go out and be mannerable and
be at peace.
But it's so much working against us, and it's not to make an excuse, but it's just the realities of what we face is unlike anything any other race has ever had to deal with.
Right.
And for that reason, I think that we have to really go back and examine not only what happens with women and men, but what has caused them to get to these places. And again, because the man falls short in some ways, that leaves who to take care of the rest of it.
I'm with you. I definitely agree 100% with that. And that's kind of one of the things that we aren't taught, as children growing up. And so, like, we kind of condition our men and women to kind of take two different paths, or paths that are parallel to each other, like they'll never touch and meet. And so, and then they, as black people, once we get adults, and you have this man and this woman, you kind of expect them to come together and build something, and it's just like, we not even there. You know what I mean? Like, you all the way over here, I'm all the way over here. We can't even meet in the middle. And so, like, I think it's super important for us to, yes, have these conversations, but then talk about what are some of the things that we can do in order to instill that in our children, because we need healthy kids. I always say that, like, I know my mission on earth is to be able to build our children up, because, as I said in my introduction video, it's so easy to build strong children than it is to repair broken men and women. And so, like, we have to really condition our children to be strong, to be healthy, to understand that as a boy, you can't cry. Like, you
and that's something that I struggle with, because, again, like I said, I don't cry either. I don't really show emotions either, but my kid is very, very emotional. So sometimes I find myself yelling or getting upset with him or frustrated or whatever, because you is crying. But I have to learn, he got to let it out one way or the other.
Right.
So, like I said, again, just taking it into parenthood, it is a struggle, especially when I've not learned how to deal with it myself.
Right, because often in the black community, we don't, and I'm not a parent. I'm just speaking in general, right? But I see a lot of parents, when I was growing up, don't allow their children to have a voice, if that makes sense. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Have emotions.
Children
They don't.
are meant to be seen,
Right, exactly. And so, like, whenever they are going through those situations, we have to recognize them as a human. Like, yes, their problems are not as grand as ours, but the emotion is still the same.
Right, they frustrated.
Right. And so we have to, like, get out of that way of, like, you just a child, you don't know what you're talking about, you ain't got no bills to pay, this and that and the third. But I'm just like, but mama, man, my first crush broke my heart. Like, I want to talk about it. Like.
Let's talk about it, baby.
And I would say that's just come with talking to them in general too, because like I said, growing up, we didn't talk. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have nobody to listen to us. We didn't have an outlet. So just being able to sit down and listen to them express themselves that's very important.
I know, like for me when I was teaching, that was when that light bulb went off for me, when I would have to listen to other teachers talk about how these children were just horrible, and I'm just like, what is wrong with y'all?
I'm saying the reality of it, they just want somebody to listen to them. They want somebody to care for them too,
and to hear them. And I had to realize that they tiny humans, and that's why I always use the term tiny humans, because a lot of people don't count kids as humans for whatever reason. I mean, they don't have crap days, and so like even like when my kids could come into my classroom, they could come up to me and say, Miss Ray, I'm just having a bad day. I just need to go back there. So I had a little corner set up. They go back there and put their head down. I said, well, shoot, go at it, baby. But I had to learn how to let go of that control and let them do that, because what I did not like is when I'm standing up there teaching, they up there like, oh, that's stalking again. That's I'm just like, wait a minute now, because now you're not considering my emotions, and when you don't consider my emotions, I promise you'll cry before I do. For me to get to that place, I had because and people look at that like that was very liberal, but it wasn't really, because I had to still check me. And I know I'm still a work in progress, so I'm not gonna put up with your attitude and you look the same size as me, you dress the same way I dress. You may be 16, but you're talking like you're 29. So, so in order for me not to get outside of myself, I had to put things in place that benefited them, but also benefited me. So that's another thing, just taking us back to the first point, is you can't give people too much responsibility in your life that they can't handle. You can't not have nobody that you go and tell your secrets and everything to, but then turn around, they run their mouth down and going north. It's like, but now you mad because Samantha went and told everybody your business. Well, that's what Samantha do. So
yeah, Samantha tell too much business all the time.
It is. And another thing too, like you said, it's important that as educators and stuff that you do have an outlet for kids, because like I said, a lot of kids are traumatized and a lot of teachers aren't trying to deal with the trauma in the kids, so therefore they are yelling at them and expecting them to do different things and excel on a different level that they're not capable of doing right now because they're dealing with other things.
They got trauma, but that comes from, and that's another conversation, because a lot of these colleges does not teach you how to deal with black kids. College does not teach you how to deal with any other race of children, but the utopian standard of we all reading on the same level, we all came from the same middle class, upper middle class family, we all got both our parents living, all these things, nothing happens outside of that. So this is what they teach you. Sure, I can teach you English when everything right with you, but they don't teach you how to deal with little Johnny who mama died, or the lights have been cut off, they ain't got no food, or they just tired because they sit up and watch their kids so their mama can go to work. They don't teach you how to deal with all these things that these babies go through, but we're then expecting them to come to school and have homework every day and be able to be attentive and listen. Now you do got some buttholes that just don't. They don't. But at the end of the day, for the majority of them, they dealing with a lot, and it's so selfish for you.
That's what I was ready to say is that we are saying that teachers don't know how to deal with it.
They're not trying to deal with it.
They don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But at some point, though,
I'm gonna be honest though. Me being in the education system, I honestly don't think it's a lot of it's common sense. I mean, I hate to say it like that. Like, it's not one of those things where you have to be taught. Like, you got to have common courtesy and passion for people in that situation.
To that, Amber. Listen in common sense. Everybody have common sense is not so damn.
What's common sense?
What I'm saying is, like, for me, like me being a teacher and having colleagues who are aware in other areas of their life about certain situations, but then don't carry that same compassion for a little black student in front of you. Like, you can have this student, this kid who's not considered to be black, perform the same misbehavior as a black child, and that teacher is going to address that student differently than that black child. And that's a lot of the issue that we have in our education system. And I say that,
but yet they want our babies to be at peace.
Right. And then, like, but we are in a system. I say this, I told Ms. Ray this all the time. Like, we are in a system that was created for white children. It's a biased system. You know what I mean? And so, like, we can't expect. Well, we should expect, maybe not say that, but we have to understand that this system was not designed for us in the beginning, and we fought to be a part of a system that wasn't created for us. We are suffering because of it. And so, like, that's not to say that the system shouldn't change, because it definitely should. But we have to talk and think about those aspects of it, before we can even be able to dive into, any situation that we're ahead of us now. So let me ask y'all this, because I want everybody to kind of zone in on this. What are some of the takeaways that you want our audience to kind of gain from this particular topic in protecting your peace?
Look at counseling as a positive and not a negative. Like I said, counseling is very beneficial.
Got you.
To never just feel guilty about protecting yourself. Don't feel guilty about putting yourself first. I'm not telling you to be selfish. I'm just telling you to think about yourself first. So nothing wrong with that. And to also just understand that it is okay to be okay sometimes. Like, it is not the end of the world because everything's going good. You deserve it. You deserve it. And I think just being a part of this community, as lit as it is, this platform was created to really talk about those things. And I think that, as lit as it is, we got some work we got to do too. And that's what, we really want to do. And it just starts by self-care, protecting your peace, and really understanding what your definition of peace is. So once you figure that out, the rest of it will kind of fall into place.
Adanya?
So I want to hit up on what Alicia was saying about
don't piggyback off me.
Putting yourself. I'm sorry. Just putting yourself first sometimes. But there's such thing as being selfless to a flaw. There is a such thing as selfless being an actual weakness, because you're just giving so much of yourself. And I think maybe I was talking to Alicia about this the other day. I'm pretty sure it was Alicia, because she's like the only person I talk to for real. Like, I mean, y'all too, but y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Dang, Shalina, you see that?
That was one of my girl, but you be on my phone every day, but you only talk to Alicia.
She on my phone right now. She on my phone.
When you get off this phone, you make sure you call Alicia. Don't call my phone.
Oh my God.
Period, folks. Period, folks.
This is bad for the TV.
Put it all back in the can. So, but what I was saying was, like, I've always been like the strong friend, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole another topic in itself. But I'm so used to being the strong friend that I think I've surrounded myself and have grown to be fond of and to seek out cats. I'm scared of cats. I don't like cats. But when I say cats, I mean people who are just takers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I give so much of myself to people that's just going to take. And as long as you give it something, they going to take it.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind is going to be like, no, I don't want that. It's okay. It's good. No, they going to take it. So that's one thing, is to just really be mindful of what you're giving.
Mm-hmm.
And really be mindful of what you're replenishing. Because if you're giving things and you're not replenishing it, you're putting yourself in a whole, like a red zone. That's complete danger. And there was one other thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, because you got 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
I'm sorry. I want to come back to my non-communicators. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, there's a thing about not being able to articulate. There's a thing about, there's a difference between not articulating and just not communicating. But however, there's also a thing where you are articulating, you are communicating, and I almost cussed, and people just not comprehending. They're not understanding. MFs don't comprehend, okay? So you have to be mindful when you're articulating that you're meeting them on their level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying dumb yourself down. I'm just making sure that they have reflective listening.
Gotcha.
Like, they hear what you're saying.
They be comprehending, they just don't care. It's the difference.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, y'all don't take all my points.
All you got to do is put a bow on it.
And it's another one too. It's okay not to be okay.
Okay, you just took that one too. I was about to say it, Shalina. Like,
okay,
dog.
not to be okay.
Okay.
Just put a bow on it, Amber.
I feel like right now y'all taking away from my peace. Anyways, you got less than a minute. Go ahead.
Wrap it up, Amber. Wrap it up.
All right, guys. I think that's about it. We want to encourage you guys to protect your peace. We love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Peace. Mwah.